two.
Part two.
Continuation of our meeting. Got Zoom back up and running again. Is everyone good with the balance sheet, or do you want to keep looking at it a little bit?
Sorry. Open up all those things.
Highlighted what I was wondering about too.
You did?
Yep.
You're saying
Oh, we were,
it's new.
yeah, question the dental, $124. Just something with the dental insurance or something like that.
Yeah, we actually, Ellis paid that himself. Just comes. He has a dental plan.
I was like, I didn't know we had dental plan, to be honest with you.
You can buy additional, so
Okay.
he has a payroll deduction that flows through our system to go to the town.
Thank you. Center.
Okay.
What is account 223? About income tax. Is it with respect to holding?
Yes.
Okay, fine.
This is what I was trying to remember how we're doing this. So the health insurance sounds differently.
Mhm.
And it used to be lumped up above with like payroll, taxes.
Yeah, we separated it out to be able to pull the HSA amount separate, so we could, because we fund that separately when we're doing the budgeting. They're two
Right.
different, the insurance is different than the HRA. We did that.
So where is the insurance?
We're clearly on the budget versus it.
Yes.
That doesn't matter that it's not.
Yeah, different
Balance.
things get pulled different ways. Yeah. That's just the way that it generates them, it pulls in certain.
Okay.
Entities. That one, yeah, it won't go the other.
Yeah, I don't think it's monthly. It's happening, right? I guess it's like,
They send it
Quarterly.
sometimes monthly, sometimes bi-monthly. This last one had 2 months on it.
Yeah, that was bigger. Yeah.
Yeah. There was a bunch of well, and on the stub, you'll see there's a bunch of HSA signatures and then the 2 months of insurance.
That is listed on, not on that. Not on the balance.
No, on the budget versus actual for the
Okay,
month of April, we'll speak to the numbers on it.
yes.
Are we ready to move on to a property loss?
This is the corrected one.
Did you ever, I don't know if I ever got an email with the corrected
Yeah,
in
I
March.
think I
Is that,
sent it right later that night.
okay,
It was like very soon after the meeting.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'll have to double check. I just see it come through my email. That doesn't mean I didn't get it. I get like 50 emails a night, so I might have just been like, yeah, another one.
Yeah, it was just a matter of going in and changing the date. So it was looking at the 1 month, not quarter,
Okay.
is what it was. By mistake.
Again, we don't put any of the health insurance in the profit and loss. It only goes in the budget versus actual.
For the breakdown, yeah.
What's,
Copier use is big.
Yeah, it's
Taxes.
been a while since
Right.
yeah, it's tax time.
Yeah.
And, and it's been a while since we've been. So, I gotta clean out today.
the just going into the total, looks like that's total for the year. I just noticed this and I don't, maybe this was
Are you
something,
on this thing?
no, I'm on budget versus actual. Sorry, I'm
moving to
on the
that?
wrong one.
Okay,
Just kidding, guys.
Oh.
that's the one I want to be on, but I think
Yeah.
we're still on this
Well, you
one.
said budget versus actual and I opened that and I started wondering.
For staff development, would you buy tickets for something that's coming up?
We wrote the check for, me to go to Nels. And I actually ended up getting a $200 scholarship.
Oh,
It was less
Oh.
expensive than, anticipated.
Your fancy.
yeah. Yeah.
Do you need a scholarship? I said, yes, I would love one. And they said, okay, here you go.
So,
It's not magic.
it's complicated application form again, yeah.
The $35 general income. It's just like sales,
We
donations.
did that, sometimes they'll just give us a check too, and we also have, offs. People.
Accumulated for a while too.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
Not a lot
For
of
the
guilt.
month.
don't do it.
Someone's real guilty then. It's not me.
Well, my kids start doing it and going, oh, look, funny, that's when I do it.
More than likely, Mike.
Mine too, mine.
Looks good.
All services, but I think the legal fees or something in there.
We're
576.90.
Ask Carol.
Line 5321.
So 5321 has,
No, it has legal fees. It has, I forget what else it
I
is.
don't think there's
I
been
know it
any new
includes
legal fees for the
EU,
month. I
right?
think that was mostly me and then
Okay.
partly,
I'm just wondering if we were paying into any of that.
haven't had any
More.
legal expenses.
Okay.
No, the VLCT
Yeah,
quarterly payment. And the one that went, the email that went
Okay.
around with the invoice,
351, those-
I think it's total, I
Yeah,
believe
that's
it's
that.
my check and
Okay.
VLCT.
That makes sense.
Another kind of stupid question, but so we're not lumped in with the town. We pay separately.
Yes.
Okay,
Alright.
I wasn't sure. if it was me.
Any other questions, comments, or concerns on the profit and loss?
No, it looks pretty clean.
On to the fun one.
Mm,
Versus
yeah, that's the one I get a question. And again, maybe this was addressed with the sheet that I didn't see from last time. There's the $6.80 in sales, and then there's book sales. What other sales do we do?
we don't sell books anymore.
Okay,
Um,
so,
So they're all free now.
okay,
So we,
the hats, t-shirts.
yeah, hats, and
Okay.
t-shirts, stickers.
What
Okay.
line are you
Mugs,
looking at? Just curious.
right up at
So
the,
we
Right
really-
under
Oh, book
418.
sales.
yeah, there's book sales, and then there's the unnumbered
book
line
sales.
that's sales. But
Oh, I
there's
see it. But I don't see anything in it. Oh, wait, I,
up in the total, so I
Okay,
wasn't sure.
okay, nothing
because
in
I didn't
April, right,
see-
okay.
Yeah, I didn't see the March one, so I
Right,
don't know if it was addressed.
okay,
then.
Yep.
So I was just curious, I wanted to.
We don't know what we sold.
$6.80, yeah.
Yeah, coming to us. It was income coming to us.
And it's
Yeah.
not a sale, it's a donation. right?
Yes, yeah.
Sounds good.
Find out what exactly it was. I mean, somewhere in the year, it wasn't this month because they're
Yeah,
blank on the other side, but we'll double check on it.
and then right underneath sales,
Yeah, but they should be in the general, not the 400, not 401 though.
Yes,
and then right underneath the sales, there's uncategorized income, 291.67. what kind of, I mean, it's uncategorized.
Well, that's a,
This is the
9167 would be,
budget.
that would be a split of the budget. Why would we have budgeted, any idea what that?
Budget and on.
Yeah.
Right.
Is that one of the things that
Yeah.
it's automatically throws in there?
There should be a number to zero out on that. We'll just have to, when we enter the next one, make sure
Yeah.
that that's zeroed out.
I don't know.
Nothing has gone in and out of it. It's
Yeah.
just the number that's
It's been-
been.
Okay.
pushed
Got there for the whole year,
so
yeah.
It's just been popped in there for fun.
Just An extra line item.
Here's to be.
Just QuickBooks.
Yeah.
Yep. Here's to be.
And one of the things that I hope that Carl and I will be able to do before we actually put the detailed budget for next year in, is we're gonna try to make, with Ally's input, closer to when we really think, and like we see, for example, health and disability insurance, we see 2,000 budgeted, but nothing spent.
Yeah.
Well, that's because the 2,000 is just a spread that QuickBooks did automatically. And if we can override that, because we'll know
Yeah.
that we expect those expenses to come in
Yeah.
at roughly this month and that month, then our budget to actual will be more useful for us. It'll be information that makes sense,
Right.
as opposed to thinking we're 100% off on half of our budget every month. And that's it's just the mechanics of QuickBook we need to override. And unfortunately or fortunately, I'm gonna have about 4 months, starting in November, where I'm not gonna have any useful hands. But we might be able to sit down and do that together, if not before, hopefully before that. Well, we'll do that before then. But other stuff that we want to do, I'm gonna need a signer for 4 months from November on.
You can't just like put your nose on it. No, sorry.
I could get a signature stamp and do it left-handed, but
Just an X. We'll
yeah.
just-
Can't even do that. And it's gonna be out here.
Oh,
I can see that you're very proud of spending the money for staff development and account 5308. That's all caps. Good job. Good job.
The only one that's. That predates.
Staff development.
Right. It's like, finally. But like that one, that's a good example where it looks like, for the month, we're way off. But if we look at it for the year, we're still within our
Yeah.
plan for the year.
So I know we mentioned something.
Mm,
Being permitted or,
We have no idea yet.
okay,
Yeah. We don't have
Okay.
any idea.
okay.
So I think I put it in my report, but so the state library found out that they were getting 50% of their grant funding, or, essentially what they expected.
Mhm.
They expected 1.24 million or something, and they're getting
Okay.
half of that. For 2025, which is this current year,
Yeah.
which is weird, because you think they would have already gotten the money,
Yeah.
but that's just May. I guess that's a year, like a calendar year, not
Oh,
a
not a
fiscal
fiscal
year.
year. Interesting.
I'm assuming, I don't know.
Yeah.
Paid up at the end of the fiscal
It
year.
might be. But they said they are hopeful for next year, but who knows?
Yeah.
But the lawsuit against Doge was, they put a temporary hold on the dismantling of the IMLS.
Hmm.
So technically, they still have employees. So that's great.
Who
Um,
knows?
So hopefully that means that their funding level will return, but we don't know because there's no federal budget yet. So when we have a federal budget, we'll know more.
Okay, so then the follow-up question to that, since we don't know what's going on with our courier service, we're still using a courier service, correct?
Yes, we are still doing
Okay.
the same thing we've always done.
Okay, all right, so then I don't have to inquire further on that line. I wasn't sure if that was gonna be like next ASAP.
No.
That was something like
No,
kind of in limbo with everything.
no,
Okay, all right.
fortunately, we have not heard anything about that going anywhere.
Nothing.
I mean, to me, that's one of the most important things that we get through federal funding, so
Yeah,
I'm
okay.
hoping it stays the same.
Can I ask a sort of random question, but not totally because it's a budget? The Blackstone, is that on an automatic sign up for it again?
No.
Okay,
No,
that'd
we
be
have to sign another contract.
good.
And what does that do?
It's in November.
Yeah,
Well-
we just signed up for it not too long ago. I think November is right.
That would be a good subject for one of your little directors letters in the newsletter. The listing these, what are our current services, boundless versus.
Oh, I did that a couple
Oh, you
months
did? Okay, I
Yeah.
missed it, sorry.
Do it again.
No, RTF.
I,
Is Blackstone getting any kind of action going on?
we did 7 circulations last month.
Okay.
And we have at least one this month because I'm listening to a book on it. So, the staff we also all got access to this free service where we can listen to, advanced listener copies of books. So, yeah, it's really cool. And, so now we're all spoiled and we only.
Yeah.
So I think staff usage of some things has gone down, between Kendra and I, that probably makes a dent in the usage.
Line 5315. We are negative $35 for the year. Are we expecting any more membership dues?
No,
So that won't get worse.
no, I'll look at that line item and see. What's going on? No, it might have just increased the
The price of something.
Yeah.
price on something, yeah.
Anybody else have any other questions or comments? You want to discuss on this? Or actually pull Kendra in?
Okay. I'll go. I can do this without.
Or
Well, I'll just the, oh no,
just want to just mention that?
nope, I think I'm good.
Okay.
I was looking at the wrong line.
William May stormed the meeting.
What is press?
Like storming the castle.
Oh, nice. You're gonna these kids to listen, huh?
Yeah.
All right, I'm ready. Yay. Roger, I did get your email, but only
Yep.
recently. And I appreciate you pointing out when I use random acronyms that the layperson doesn't know. SRP is Summer Reading Program. That's my shorthand. And I don't notice how much I speak an acronym.
Well, I'm learning them. I'm good with that. I'm good with that.
You know, they're for
Yep.
the record, and
Yep.
if somebody looks back at them, I
Yep.
wouldn't be there to explain them. So that's my first thing. So everything's been chugging along. Obviously, the biggest thing that we had happen, I feel like we can't see everybody,
Mhm.
here we go. Is the chickens. But in addition to that, our reoccurring program of Library Explorers Club and Bear are going great. Library Explorers Club, another family found us, and I verbally accosted them when they just came in, and I was like, "Guess what we do on Friday mornings?" And so they've come to a couple, and it's been wonderful. And what else? Oh, and then Bear, we had a lot of kids signed up, but then when Pee Wee baseball started, our target group is the second, third, and third graders. It's first, second, and third is Pee Wee baseball, and their practice is Friday afternoon because they had the same idea as me, that it was a time that laughter wasn't offered. So our attendance at Bear has dropped a little bit, but we've still had really great participation. The hammers are because we did the Home Depot kits. They all followed my littlest hammer, so I went to Harbor Freight and bought little hammers.
We have to bring the new ones.
Hmm?
We have to bring the new ones.
Yeah.
Berkeley.
That's okay. Ooh, that'll be excellent. Yes. They really liked building the kits. And we also did a peeling crayons and then like mixing them, like using a little food processor and mixing them together and melting them down. And the whole library smelled like melted crayon. It was nostalgic for everyone. It was a delight. I only spilled a little bit of hot wax on the toaster oven. It was great. And we played Uno on another day. And there was mild tears. None of them were mine. But then, yeah, so the chickens are the best thing. It went great. We built off the program from last year in a lot of different ways. Sadly, despite me planning the entire program around the Dover School visit, they had a scheduling issue with the bus and weren't able to physically be here for the second candling. But that's okay because it was quite the endeavor. I was going to have to black out the entire room. So instead we did it via Zoom and that worked out really well. And like a couple times, more than one class was there, but they were in their own classroom. So there was like little groups. It was nice. It worked out good. They said they could see stuff. And we had the candling before that was an in-person one here. And I was practicing using the camera because I knew at that time I was going to have to Zoom the second candling. So that was kind of cool too. So not every adult had to climb under my table for it. I was able to put it up on the screen so other people in the room who didn't want to come into my den of suffocation. We're in there with the 100-degree incubator going, and like all these tablecloths over to make it dark enough, and then several small children. Yeah, so you guys were living the life watching it on the screen.
Yeah. That's kick all the kids out. They're me, man.
Yeah, the table up on pieces of PVC pipe, so we had a little bit of headspace. That was nice. So that was really good, and we were able to collect a lot of data, and then obviously the most best part is Hatch Day. It was very exciting, and I joked this year, just keep in the back of your mind. I was like, next year I'm sleeping over on Hatch Day because 3 of them hatched on Sunday evening when I came in to check on them, and I came in. It was 9 in the morning, so like I missed a lot of good hatching. But we still got to see several, and even kids in the country brought their kids over to see the hatching. And we live streamed it and got 54 views of Hatch Day. And then I also live streamed their first day in the brooder because they're adorable. We got 19 views there. And then I think on Hatch Day, it was also an election at the town hall and a beautiful day. So I think that also helped. But I think we had like 50 some odd people come into the library that day.
We have 55. It's in my
Yeah.
report. It's
Yeah.
55
55,
people go
yeah.
into the
A lot
line.
of people wanted to see chickens hatch.
Yeah.
Also, some people came in not knowing it was Hatch Day, and again, I verbally accosted them. And I was like, "Are you here to see the chickens hatching?" And they were like, "What are you talking about?" Follow me into the children's room.
How many eggs did you start with?
We started with 30 eggs.
Okay.
After candling 1, we had 24. After candling 2, we had 21. Then we had 15 manage a hatch, but only 14 survived. The one referred to as Dangle did not make it.
Bingle.
He had something dangling off his rear end.
Oh.
Turns out to be, it was like,
Intestines.
yeah, it was part of his inside. It was a little bit too outside. And then when the other chickies noticed it, they were like, you're a threat to our safety, so you must die. It happened very quickly. all about it in the journal because I wrote a whole page.
More than flag real fast.
Sure, wild animals.
Yeah. And you can still rewatch both days on the replay. I haven't gone through and watched the hatch day, but I'm sure it's hilarious because we were open as opposed to last year when we were at VLA.
Mhm.
And so there's a lot of like people's heads in the way.
Oh, there were.
Because
Which is it's part of it. It's part of
yeah,
it. It's
part of
awesome.
the whole experience.
I know the videos when I have them.
Yeah. And
I was
we've all
definitely
gone
doing
home
it.
now.
Yeah.
Definitely saw everybody's
Where's
face.
home?
5 went to my house, 5 went to Allison's house, and 4 went to the Porter's house. Allison's flock had the best hatch rate of 6 out of the 12 eggs that she contributed hatched. I contributed 3 eggs and only 1 hatched, and Ashley contributed, I think, 18 and some math, maybe like. I don't know. I have it written down.
Yeah.
However many
The rest
eggs
of
were
them.
left. were-
Right. We're-
We'll never know who Dangles was.
Have you labeled the eggs so you know whose were whose?
We numbered them, but once they start hatching, it's
Oh.
pandemonium and they start kicking eggs everywhere
Yeah.
and it's all out of control.
Back in
If
each other.
anyone is
No
interested, there was 1 egg that pipped, which means it made a little hole, but did not survive the actual hatching out process.
Hmm.
And so we did a video of Allison taking it out so you can see. So if you're interested in that, Laura, I can send it to you.
I would love to do it, yeah.
Laura.
I did an egg up.
Yeah, there's actually a word for it in embryology, like the embryology. It's not autopsy, but
Yeah,
there's a word for it.
there's necropsy for
Yes.
that animal.
Right.
But it's because, yeah, we didn't actually like cut into the actual liver, we just extracted it. So, and then I did my observation journal, which was awesome. I changed it a little bit this year and I added a thing where you could say if it's your first time visiting the coop. So I was able to see that 6 of the 29 observation sheets said that it was their very first time coming in and seeing the chickens come to the library. So that was neat. And we did reference our 2024 journal frequently when people would ask questions about what happened last year or, just comparing and contrasting the data we had from last year. So now, after I wrote this, I focused and printed out the pictures and everything. So the 2005 journal is printed, like all the pictures, it's complete, it's stapled aggressively, and you can look at it. And then we also had April Vacation thrown in there. Finally showed Wild Robot. Only 1 kid and their adult came, but they did enjoy their snacks and their grab bag. And then we did the planting, which was technically an all ages event, but it was mostly kids that participated. And then Thursday was shrink art, which was fabulous. Kids sat there, they made their little art designs, we shrank them down. I moved the toaster oven into the kids' room, and they were like very focused and quiet, and it was amazing. It was one of the best programs we've run thus far.
Yeah.
We do that one.
Yeah, we have used them a lot because like you can keep using the I have a bin that just has the Sharpies and the
Scrap
the
pieces.
scrap pieces. And so kids ask, I'll let them take them out. And then I just say, like, when you get home, you have to Google how to shrink them in your oven. And so I still have a bunch of pieces. So I think, yeah, the summer reading program will definitely do some of that. And then for Dover school stuff, like I said before, the Dover school visit had to be rescheduled, but we were able to do the Zoom and literally across the board, we had kids coming in after school saying like, we were watching in our classroom. We had it on in our classroom on hatch day and on day 1. And the teachers really appreciated. I think they used it kind of as a brain break throughout the day, just checking in on the chicks and families as well. Because I know a couple families that were also hatching at home for the first time. So they were like watching ours to see how it went too. So that was cool. And also the next school visit is our fault. We're going to VLA. So the next school visit was supposed to be the day we're closed for VLA, but we were able to push it till June 2nd. So the kids are coming back, in theory, bringing back all the books that they've now had for quite a bit because their last visit was canceled. And well, yeah.
This will be their last visit to the school year, right?
Yes. This is how we party.
That checks out.
And the last day of school for Dover is the 10th,
The 13th.
the 13th.
Friday the 13th, and I believe it's on Friday the 12th, Thursday the 12th. The day before is the community cookout, which is the sign up drive that I'm planning, which I'm working on my pamphlet this year, trying to make it a little more compact. So obviously this is a draft. Don't be judging it. There's lots of blank spaces. I'm still figuring it all out. But then we'll have like the 3 months that it spans some, with the 12th being sign up opening. I have a Google form for signing up as well as an option to fill it out in person, but I'm hoping that the Google form will streamline things. Last year, a lot of people like asked if there was a way to track reading online. And while there is the Beanstack app that the state makes available to us, it's really convoluted. And I really want them to come into the library. So I was like, no, you still have to do your sticker chart. Sorry. And not sorry. And then I have lots of different ideas. These are just some, most of them are placeholder ideas, but lots of art, obviously, with color. But we do have, we're gonna have a glow dance party because that's very colorful. That works. But like making smoothies and talking about colors. The Natural History Museum is already booked. We have wool felted patches, which is an older kid one. The Blueberry Festival, doing our parade float, which will be some colorful stuff. And what is Colors of Celebration? I just want to make ribbon wands. So, we're doing that. Doing some like monster trucks and race cars, like decorating them, like them and stuff like that. And I have a bunch of books because of all the issues we've had with things being back ordered. I started purchasing all of the books already that we'll bring out in the summer that are all very color themed and like related to art and things like that. And they just haven't been added to the collection, but they're ready. And they're all going to have their own little symbols because it's the Rainbow Bunch, the Neon Squad, and the Pastel Crew this year for my age groups. And so then I'm going to try and add the pastel ice cream, the neon stars, and the rainbow. That one was easy, to help create a key for like which programs are geared towards which group. Like, so you'd be like, this is for the neon. And then also a little painter's palette will symbolize my big guys, which have their own thing, which I need to figure, I printed the wrong way, but theirs is reading books and connecting it to color and then being entered to the raffle. So I tried to make this a little more easier for them to follow through on this year because we didn't get, my bingo was amazing and we didn't get as much participation as we could have.
How many did you get last year with the older kids?
That actually completed and were entered to win the prize.
Yeah.
One. She won big. Made out like Bandit.
Now, how many started?
For the teens, I don't know off the top of my head, but I want to say it was like maybe 4, 5, 6. We did have a like few kids because I let the rising 7th graders pick. And this year it's only really 4 kids from Dover that are rising 7th graders. They can either participate in the teen version of the thing because they'll be going into teenhood, or they can hold on for one more year and be a part of the oldest group of the summer reading kitchen program. So some of the rising 7th did opt to go to the teen side of things. And then I'll be taking all of my little arcade style prizes from my school year reading is rewarding program. We'll clear that all out. I'll put in a last call for anybody who has stickers. And then those will all be used as prizes and giveaways over the summer, as well as I have started accumulating many things like Oriental Trading's like, there's a free $20 gift card because we want you to buy stuff from us. And I'm like, buy something that's $17 that I can use as a summer reading prize. And like, I'm just, as people donate stuff that's in like giftable quality or unopened and stuff, I've started accumulating it all. So is what
the raffle, the wagon
Oh,
raffle.
you didn't talk about that?
I did not talk about it.
I didn't even
were
put it
gonna
in.
talk about it.
The downside of all of our collaborations, like who gets credit for it? So we were able to obtain a radio flyer, all-terrain cargo wagon. And
For
we are
free.
for free. It was a donation. And I assembled it. All sturdy. And then we gathered a few small items to, flush it out, and we have some books and stuff, and we are going to sell raffle tickets and use it as a fundraiser. Calling it a Sun and Fun raffle. I have not fully worked out all the graphics, but
Canva's getting its work out.
yes. I have no personal Canvas subscription. And we haven't really nailed down like pricing stuff, but then also in the same vein, next year, my super cute, I don't have it, my super cute logo for the storybook Coup, the little books and the chick nest on top and little chicks. I'm gonna put on t-shirts and I'm gonna sell t-shirts during storybook Coup, because I think that
That'd be cute.
the kids will like that.
That's it.
That's another thing.
And hopefully you'll have some in adult sizes too.
Yes, a small stock. And I want to put little chicky feet prints on the back that say "Follow me to the storybook,"
Yeah.
or "Chicks dig reading." I like both options.
There you go. That's pretty good.
And that's next year you're looking.
That's just
We
like,
probably want to look at like prices on what it would cost and stuff.
yeah.
too,
Well,
and-
if we price it out now, it will
Prices will
inevitably
Yeah.
come huge by next year. Yeah. But the nice thing with small batch things like that is like Vistaprint and like those kind of companies, you can usually get like a deal for like your first time ordering, or
Yeah.
they'll send you coupons and stuff. You can usually get a decent little stock of a single print.
You're taking begging to a science level.
I'm really good at volunteering people for things, and I'm also really good at like hoarding free things. These are my resume skills. Yes. But if anybody wants to be involved in the Blueberry Parade float this year,
Yes.
I'm looking to contain the children onto something. And Brian just brought a trailer, so we'll probably use that. But like, I don't know if he'd be available to actually tow the trailer. Looking at you with the truck. Yeah, the bikes were fabulous, and a grand statement was made. We were like, maybe
Corral them a little bit.
fasten them to
Yeah.
the trailer.
As a person who got run over several times, I do not mind.
Luckily, we had some strong adults carrying little bikes and carrying children as they like pooped out towards the end. But yeah, I'm
So
thinking,
you're gonna do trailer float kind of thing?
yeah, more of a traditional float. And I'm right now thinking still, like Colors of Dover. There's like the parades about like Doverness. We're doing colors. And so like just having the kids brainstorm like what they think of around town when they think of red, whether it be barns or farm mile track. I don't know what they're gonna think of. It could get interesting. But we will face it. The Gill Feather Turnip.
Yeah.
That's red.
Yeah.
White and purple.
You can use that for.
Yes. And we booked the Drive Story Hour. It's June 14th. It's gonna be at 5:00. They're doing 2 others that day, so I haven't got the exact price. But it'll help us get a break on the mileage, which is the part that adds up quickly. And One Mountain, the new place that's in Dots, is working with us on figuring out food. So because it's 5:00, and like most of our really exciting and loud children's things, I'm excited to do it as a standalone event so that we don't disrupt anybody who's coming to the library for a more traditional library atmosphere. And it's everyone that I put the word out to has been very excited about it, and I'm just waiting on them to get me all the graphics. We're on their graphic for their summer tour. We're listed as a date already, but I am waiting for their actual graphics so I can make our event specific flyers to start putting out. And that's it. I don't know if I told you guys, but I'm working on my certificate too. I did start that process. And I just don't think I've mentioned it to anyone. Sorry. I think that's everything.
You get credit for going to BLA too.
I know, I already printed out a form. So, yeah. I think that's
All right.
But yeah, I mean, if you don't get that certificate like in a couple of weeks, you're out of here.
After the chicken burger.
No,
You did
good
great.
job.
Thank
I'm
you.
excited
Amelia,
for
you
this
didn't even
summer.
How high are the bars gonna be on that trailer that you're gonna have the kids cage
Yeah,
in?
no, that's like really true. I'm not quite sure,
Also, maybe build like a bench with some straps.
right? I think if they all
Double
pick this, if they all pick the applesauce, it does, I mean, it has like, they don't like the regular one. You're just gonna have to go slow.
Razor wire across the top.
Yeah.
She just voluntold you right into that.
Make sure, 'cause, yeah. All right.
That's how that works.
All right,
Okay,
and action.
are we
You
doing
wanna do the
policy
policy
first?
review?
Are we doing policy first or are we doing
You
you
guys all
first?
got that email to you,
Which one?
whatever
Policy?
Kendra just sent.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, policy review.
It's probably because my
This was
issues with my
the,
library email again.
Okay, don't forget to stay this time and we'll look at your issues. We'll
I
examine.
thought
it.
it had cleared up and then
You sent it to them. Dover Free
I
Dover.
got the last one.
this is the programming policy?
The
Yes.
youth report, she said she didn't get it.
Oh.
Yeah,
got
we're going
it.
over the.
I got it
policy
on,
now.
well, that I got though.
I couldn't find anything that I needed,
Yeah,
that I
well-
thought needed to be added or changed. And I just,
Yeah, I looked it over this
which is
morning.
very disappointing. I mean, I couldn't even find a good typo. Yeah.
Oh, I
Yeah.
was sure there were gonna be a few, cause I
Yeah.
was trying to do something at the same time. I'd
I
never
think it's
do.
very well worded and
Yeah, it really is.
to the point.
Yep.
Clear.
Yeah.
Do you get many requests for reviewing of programs?
Not so far,
Yeah. Not even on her last one.
no.
That's great.
I guess I have a question, and my question is, like, in general, it seems like we kind of like after have done the programs, kind of review them, but should we have something a little bit more formal set up where it's like, okay, after the summer
Evaluation.
program, we review the programs we did. Are they hitting everyone we want? Is there something else we need to do to,
Mhm.
you know, and even our programming itself, like what's our, it's just something I remember getting from the state, like what's our goal with this program and
Yeah.
who are we reaching?
We
Strategic
kind of
planning.
funded, yeah.
It's a strategic planning thing.
Yeah.
For sure, yeah, we don't sit down and talk about every single one because we do so many of them that would take up a lot of time. But you know, we do sit down informally and talk about, we have staff, we generally have a staff meeting every Thursday morning. We were doing that every Thursday morning and now some timing issues have occurred, but we're trying to find a day when we're all three of us are here, that we just kind of sit down and have an informal chat about everything that's going on. So they kind of happen off the cuff now, but we talk about like Monday movie, like we've only had one, we've had two people come to a Monday movie in like 8 weeks.
Mm.
So,
Right.
you know, do we bother to even put this on the schedule anymore? Or do we still offer it and just, you know, that's how, one of the reasons we decided not to do the paid swank subscription again and just go focus on free movies. Yeah. Yeah, so it's not a formal process, but
Right.
like for the bigger things like the dessert social and stuff, absolutely, yes, we do sit down and talk about them and afterwards.
Should that be something that the board is involved with or it's presented to the board? I mean, you kind of do.
Yeah,
But-
I think we do try to be like, you know, Kendra says, these are the programs I had and
Yeah.
This is what we have.
Burning
written
out,
down.
working and, you know,
and, you know, in this year, next year, I think I'm gonna do, you know, this
What about-
year.
Community response to that though.
We did a community evaluation after summer reading program last year.
Would we be able to maybe get a community response on some of our more regular things like the book clubs and like I love Kendra's bear stuff and the little kid thing, but like getting just, so we have an idea of the community, what they want to access, what they are accessing, what they're looking to access, what they have knowledge on, just like a general overview on the programs that the community is really excited about. I feel like we've been a lot of, just going back to kind of budget, we've had some money kind of spent and thrown into some programs that were like the movies were like, ooh, no, let's go to this.
Yeah,
So maybe doing like some like that before we start throwing in too many more new programs. I don't know. I'm sure you could just pop out an email and get, 20
Yeah.
responses,
yeah, and that's something we could absolutely, ask the parents for
Yeah.
Library Explorers Club, like, would you mind filling out a 3-question survey?
Yeah.
Thing, that's very doable.
Yeah.
We did do a bigger survey effort last spring. And we got a lot of responses, a lot more than I thought we were gonna do, but at the time, I had just taken over the October before and people weren't super familiar with everything that was going on. So we got a lot of answers that were like, oh, I'm not familiar with what the library programs are. So hopefully now people are a little more familiar with stuff and starting to figure it out. But yeah, that is that's a good idea for having a more focused thing than just asking everybody in town
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
they think.
That was really my only.
I mean, I guess that's something we could just kind of put on the agenda.
That's something
when
to
we
do in
need
the
to.
future. Yeah.
Mm.
I mean, it's not like anything that needs to be really rushed, but it's just something that would be interesting to know what the money that we're spending for the programming, where it's going to and who's utilizing it in general.
Yeah, sort of in the aggregate,
Mhm.
rather than
Yeah.
just the month, we get the pieces, I think, month to month.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
Especially
the,
from,
yeah.
both from your stats and from Kendra's, but sort of seeing a big picture with some verbiage that talks about it as a whole. I think you're right. That's a great idea.
that's one of the
Yeah.
things I'm looking forward
Yeah.
to in strategic planning is
Yeah.
having to
Yeah.
focus.
Yep. Balance,
Yeah.
balance successful old with shots of something new. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I didn't see anything else in the programming policy that I had thoughts on it. Nicely done.
So you ready to adopt the policy?
I would like to make a motion to adopt the policy as written.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Right?
Aye.
Right?
Opposed?
All right.
Passes.
So I threw together, I'm sorry, I'm just making a note to put that up on the website now that it's passed. I made a schedule for reviewing the. Why it keeps making that noise? Policies. I printed out some copies because I thought for some reason that would be fun. But I also have it here digitally, and I think they sent it to all of you.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So I kind of started with things that we've already done this year so that we don't look at them again this year. But I'll explain why some of them that might not be true. So we just did the collection development policy and the reconsideration policy.
Mhm.
So I put those for January, February. For March, I did personnel policy and bylaws bi-yearly.
Mhm.
Those are both kind of big documents and they're very trustee focused. So I was thinking that they might not necessarily need to be done every single, especially bylaws might not need to be done every
Mhm.
single year. And then that would give you a little bit
So
of,
swap off the
Right.
Yeah.
personnel policy 1 year and bylaws.
and both of those have been updated super recently too, in my term here. So I think they could both wait until next month.
Okay.
We just did the lending policy, we just did programming policy. I think community room use could be next month.
Sure.
I
It's
think that might be
kind of a,
That makes
yeah,
sense.
with the summer.
Gonna get more use.
Yeah.
exactly. I put library closure policy in July because I think that's probably an easy one. We already had one. It's probably easy. Behavior policy, we just passed, but I need to put it somewhere. Same with unattended vulnerable persons policy.
Now, what is that?
It's like a children's policy, but it's for all people. So it's on the website.
Okay.
I think if you want to look at
Okay.
it, I can also send it to you.
Okay, no, that's fine.
But it basically says that like, if you can't be in charge of your own body in the library, then you have to have somebody with you
Gotcha.
who can. And then for October and November, I put no policy review because we have kind of big things happening then, staff evaluations and budget planning. So I figured you'd
Good call.
probably
Yep.
not want to do that.
We don't have
Um,
4 or 5 hour meetings.
right? Like, come on.
Yeah.
And then December, I did privacy and confidentiality because
We just,
why not?
did we just do that one?
We did just do
Yeah,
that
okay.
one.
Just kind of redoing.
Yeah, and now, once we do the community room use, that doesn't walk my tongue easily.
All has to flow.
Yeah, it doesn't flow well. We might
All
have to
this
rename
PR,
it.
you.
But once that's redone, everything else has been updated in the past
Okay.
year
Okay.
or two. No.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I'm not, I'm not really married to anything being in a specific month. So if for some reason nobody wants to talk about collection development in January, I will not be offended if, you want to switch it around.
And does this pretty much cover all of our policies?
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
great. So we're basically, once we finish these last couple and what you've already done, we're doing just sort of an annual recheck on everything. Should be
Exactly.
pretty quick, and unless something has changed in the world's climate, so to speak.
Things are changing.
And you've been looking at like other library policies, and it seems pretty
I
pretty
do.
thorough. I know we've come a long way, actually, I think.
Yeah, I always look at our previous policy to see,
How much is changing?
oh yeah, and what was good from this and what can we take from it
Mhm.
and use in the new one?
And you take a look at the suggested policies that we get from the state too,
Yes.
that are
Yeah,
guidelines.
absolutely.
Yep.
In fact, the state asked for our unattended vulnerable persons. See, so
That's great. All right.
Not quite related to that, but just something for you to be sort of thinking in the back of your mind about what, if push comes to shove and we need it badly, how do we do a serious fundraising campaign? Should
That
we
is
do that much?
in-
I'm not talking about little
yeah,
thing, we're talking about
Yeah.
what do we need to go out there and do. Just nothing
Yeah.
for now, just keep it in the back of our head. I mean, the PBS and whatchamacallit just got NPR just got defunded.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So it's scary.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't get
I
rid
have
of
a
Grover.
Toddler relying on her Elmo.
Yeah, really.
I'm like, come on,
Yeah, but there are
man.
enough reruns.
I know.
It's like going to 19 South Main. You can watch the painter for years.
It's
Bob
more of an
Ropa,
issue
yeah.
for the state level, I think, right? I mean,
Well, but
I was listening to something about it. It sounded like
but what comes to the state, how much of what the state gets passed around? I mean, some of it is programs and thing, not necessarily. Do we get direct money from the
You
state?
do not get.
No.
It comes through, everything gets funneled through the state library.
Right, but what that funds is some of the programs and resources that we use.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's access to some of those things that are in danger. Okay, that's a good point. Thank you.
Okay. So me now?
Yep. You're up.
Okay. So my update from the IMLS is that, like I said earlier, they announced that they are getting half of the budget. And that the judge issued a restraining order to temporarily stop the dismantling of the IMLS. So, we'll see what happens. And, hopefully it's good stuff. At the last meeting, you all asked me to look into our Gale usage for, last year, and I did 24, 25. There were,
What is that?
What is
that
it?
is the databases with like the Vermont Online Library where you can look up information, like
Right.
Chilton car class, like
Yeah.
information. There's, you can read some like newspaper articles. There's a whole bunch of stuff. I don't know why my brain is,
You have to go right to the website, or can you access it through our?
you access it through our website. Yeah, if you go to,
If there was the link, right?
Under
Yeah.
resources, probably.
It was all up there.
Yeah,
I can do it again. I have.
no, that's
no
fine.
idea.
No.
I'm just,
Refreshing. It's been a
Under
long month.
Yeah.
resources.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
so, yeah, the Peterson's test prep, that's part of it. The Udemy is part of it, the legal forms, the Chilton Library, and the Vermont Online Library. So, yeah, so that's all state funded. Oops.
And you did research into that, and what did you say again?
So the Udemy is not included in that, and I don't know about the Peterson's test prep, but for Vermont Online Library, we had 29 sessions. For it, no, I do not think that is good.
For
For
the
people just
month?
like,
Or,
no, for the whole year of 2024
Okay.
and this year to date, 2020.
Can we do some sort of marketing so people understand these resources?
Yeah.
Because I mean, I did spend some time kind of browsing through it, and there are incredible
Yeah.
resources that I think the community just, it honestly does not know about.
Mhm.
Even, I mean, like, I'm all about email blasts, social media blasts, even just putting a sign up near the computers and being like, yo, check this out while you're on here,
Yeah.
something like that.
Are these tools that the school might not have access to, that we could provide access to them?
That's a good idea.
Yeah, yeah, I don't know if the school library probably does, because the state provides it to us all for free.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming they would do school libraries too.
although are we saying don't get attached to it because,
Yeah, that's another, if you get attached to it, you might be disappointed.
right, if the funding's going out.
Yeah. And maybe use it before you lose it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we can look into including if we do end up losing it, we can look into how expensive it is, but it is expensive. So,
And we
we're
don't
looking
pay
at
for
like a few $1,000s a year. We do not pay for it right now. No. So something that we did pay for that we're not going to again is the Swank movie license. I looked it up. We paid November of 2024, so it would be good till November 2020.
And that's to show the movies?
That's so we can legally show the movies.
Right.
And that gives us, and we can advertise them more than
Yeah.
the state license. We can show more movies than with the state license. The state license restricts how you can advertise it and what movies you can show. However, there's still a really good amount of movies you can show, and
But you said you can't include the name of the movie in the advertising.
yeah, in certain way, yeah. And so
Contact library.
How much was that?
Yeah.
Just curious, I can't remember.
450 or something like that. It was
Okay.
expensive. So that's,
Mm.
that's a big chunk of money that we're getting back. Because it's
So you
not,
literally can't just take a DVD that you purchase and show it,
I mean, you can
Well,
if you have the license.
what I was gonna say, without the license.
Without the license, you cannot.
Yeah. No.
No, they'll sue you.
Yep.
Love them.
Yeah.
See how it goes without it, and then
Yeah.
if we're like, oh, we really actually do love this, and go
Yeah,
back and
I mean,
look at putting it back
we
in the budget.
could do it if we decide not to redo it. We're gonna have to, sometime this summer, we're going to have to sign the thing for the state. Because that's just when theirs is. So ours will still be good until November, so we can still do
Oh,
whatever
great.
we want until November. But then in November, it'll kick off to the state.
And does it cost to be with the state?
No.
Okay, it's all right. Well, great.
Yes. So if we
Yeah.
go a couple months and we decide it's not working, we could always just re-up with Swank on our own. We don't have to wait until next
Gotcha.
November. I mean, the whole 2 people that came in the last 8 weeks
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really.
was not.
People want to be home and comfortable. You know?
Yeah, you can watch. the
Yeah.
same
Yeah.
movies on
Well,
your
that's it.
couch
Yeah.
Now, why would you?
Yeah, it's different.
here.
It's changed.
Yeah,
Yeah. I know when they
Um,
first started doing it, they were movies you couldn't get yet.
Yeah.
It was
Mm.
cool.
yeah.
And now the span of time from movie theater to online,
Mhm.
It's 5 minutes.
yeah.
So as Kendra, and I noted earlier, the busiest day of April was the day the chicks vanished. With 55 visitors to the library. So the chicks are doing their job. They're getting their feed they're paying for their feed.
No, I forget, did Kendra say how many viewers we had?
She said, yes, 19 the day the day after they
After.
were born,
And there's like 50
and
something?
let me see, I have it. Hatch Day, 54 views on Hatch Day.
Oh,
So,
that's cool.
we know the school was several
Yeah.
of those at least. So yeah, so that was exciting. And there is actually in the state, when I do our state report for the year, that's one of the questions they ask is about streaming things and who watches synchronously with streaming. So we can report that back to the state too. And this year, because last year we had a grant for the incubator. So that was paid off last year. And all of the eggs were free because we all just donated them. So it was, Kendra donated the feed for the chicks the 5 days they were here. So it was completely free
Yeah.
for
Cool.
us. And we got 55 people out of it. So that's
great.
And a lot of enjoyment.
a lot of
Yeah.
excitement. And
People have
You
fun
know,
with
there
it.
may have only been 54 people online, but there are a lot more eyeballs viewing it, especially through the school stuff
yes,
than
Yeah.
55. And I think that you can't
that's
You
true.
can't help but look at it and not get excited over the whole thing.
Right,
It's goofy,
yeah.
but yes.
People are just standing there looking at, staring at the eggs.
Yeah.
Even before they're
Yeah.
hatching, they're just standing.
And then all of a sudden you see a
Oh,
pinhole.
we came in to see the chickens for sure.
Yes.
Even my teenager. Wants to see the chickens.
There you go.
Let's see. So that day, I decided to spend a day plus organizing
Yeah, I saw
our
you
old
did.
paper minutes, and now they're all nice and neat.
Which were already like you had brought them up
Yeah.
to.
Yeah.
The next level and you brought it up to.
They were getting rifled through too, so they were getting out of order again. So this way,
Great.
they'll never get out of order.
And there was one I saw that could be put online that wasn't.
I scanned the ones that you gave me, I scanned and put those online. I'm sure there are many, many more that I could scan and put online.
But that just at
4
least
hours.
brought it up to,
Yeah, it's,
But then there were those that were totally missing
yeah.
Yeah.
There are still a lot missing.
Mm.
prior to.
it happens.
Yeah.
So, but from
Well, there was-
2023
there were some
on,
years, like-
good.
There were some meetings like around COVID where we actually just didn't have some meetings, so, yeah. I remember John asked about that. I'm like, those were the months we didn't have meetings, and then we started re-meeting again outside and
Mm.
20 feet from each other with the mask on. It was fun.
Did you each have a megaphone? So you could
Oh,
hear
yeah.
people?
No, but we were sitting next to like the air conditioner generator thing out there. It was very loud.
Oh.
It made me realize that's a tough spot for youth programs out there.
Yes, that's why we don't do that.
It's terrible.
Yeah,
Terrible.
that in the mud.
Yeah.
The mud sounds great for the kids.
Yeah.
We're gonna move to our
Summer.
summer hours starting June 1st.
Which are,
That is going to change Monday and Tuesday till 8 o'clock. We'll be open 10 to 8.
Okay.
That's the
10
change.
to 8.
2 extra hours.
Monday, Tuesday.
And now I know how to put after I changed the signs in the snow this fall, I know how to change the signs myself, so I can do that.
There you go.
Very easy.
Hopefully we
And
can promote that more. I don't know how, but
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, we'll definitely, we'll start to push that. I put up a new flag holder.
I saw that. That was-
So,
I saw it the other day.
it's like, every time I do something, I'm like, that's it, no more carpentry in the library, and then something else breaks. And I got the drill again.
I thought, what's his name was gonna help you with that flag thing. What'd you say?
Oh, David,
Yeah.
yeah, that's or just do. It's easier. Oh, the town,
It's a big list for the
Yeah.
town, so it's hard to get bumped to the
Right.
top for something.
the library sign was fixed, the crooked one. I've actually had quite a few comments from patrons about that sign, so very happy.
Leaning,
It
yeah.
was really like.
Yeah.
Yes. And somebody told me last summer that it has bothered her for years, and she just hoped that it was fixed before she died, basically.
Oh my
And,
God.
like, doesn't it give a statement about how the town feels about the library if they can't even keep the sign upright?
Oh, wow.
And, yeah, so,
I mentioned it to me.
right?
Yeah.
She's a snowbird.
Oh,
So,
Right.
So she'll come back and be thrilled.
be thrilled.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Send her a picture of it.
right?
I would still like to get rid of that,
The no idling.
no idling sign. It just seems unnecessary.
Kind of cover it up with like chicken crossing.
Yeah.
It's a great
That would
idea.
be perfect. That would be-
Nobody will ever notice. I mean, not that it's.
Signs are very serious in Dover though.
Yeah, oh,
Yeah.
that's true.
Yeah,
I forgot.
so.
Oh,
But
yes.
they might consider taking it down because I don't think, people aren't, they either are or they're not. Like
Yeah.
if they're
Mhm.
running in to get their kid real quick, sometimes you need the heat in Vermont. So
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like another big no,
Yeah,
but
say yes. We need to say yes. to things.
I don't know. There it sits.
Yeah. And the strategic planning group is,
Maybe it's like the poll and how it's going out. So people are kind of like,
well, the funny thing is the first one, nobody answered, because
I don't know if I filled out this.
And then-
Now that I think of it.
the second one I did, you and Kathy answered. Kathy came in and verbally answered to me, and you filled it out online. The third one, Mike and Tracy filled out, but you and Kathy didn't. So between the four of you, at a
Yeah.
50% success rate. So I'll just keep sending out days. I'll just send it out again for next week, and I'm not gonna be here next week, so I'll send it out for 2 weeks from now. And then Kathy won't be here. And then
So what do we do? Yeah, I mean, I'd like to see it move
very busy
forward.
right now with her daughter's softball. So she basically said, like, just go ahead without me for right now, if I can't come. And Kathy's back and forth, so she has said, go ahead without her if she's not available. So it's you and Mike I'm banking on. But I said something to Mike the other day, and he's got me on his radar now, so I think I went to spam.
Yeah, I forgot. I got that and I thought, okay, now I have to like look at this again and make sure I'm here and what the date is. And I mean, I did tell you, I'm like pretty much available most of the time, but
Well, I know you have to pick up.
I can work around that.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, I will send out another schedule. I have to remember to do that.
What were people in general responding with what worked for them?
Mike had certain days after school that he was fine with. Tracy just isn't available after school right now.
Until when is softball or done? Never.
June, probably.
Never done.
Never
actually.
done. And then Kathy changes week to week, and And I change week to week too, you know, because we have
Should we
programs.
bump it to the fall? I mean, we're bumping, but fall, like we're all around, you know, are we? I am.
Yeah. Wait for that.
For the most part,
I never
I'm gonna
go.
be around. I'm not gonna be gone. But I can work around whatever you need, you
Yeah.
know.
Well, we'll try it again. And maybe we'll, you know, if I get 3 responses for a day, I'm just gonna call it a win and we can meet.
Okay,
And then if we sit down and decide that it needs to get pushed back to fall, then we can sit down.
all right.
and
Well,
look at that.
let's get it moving and,
Yeah,
okay.
I figured summer was easier for Tracy because she doesn't have school. So that was like the one consideration that I really had. And it's easier for Mike because the mountain's not open.
Okay, yeah, that's important then.
Well, it's open, but
It's obviously.
yeah, it's not as busy. So jumping over to programming, unfortunately, we've had our first defunding death, and that is that the Vermont Humanities Council budget, they lost 42% of their funding for the year. So they've decided to, as part of that, to eliminate the reading and discussion program. Now, since I've written this update yesterday, what we've discovered is that we cannot get any of the books for the program that he wants to do from interlibrary loan. Well, we can get one of the books through interlibrary loan, but the other 3 are not available. So that puts us in a position to have to purchase those books. And none of them are cheap or easy to acquire. A lot of them are not in print anymore. And yeah. So I did the math and it looks like it'll cost us more than $900
Just for the book.
just for the books. So that, you know, so
And that's to get how many copies of how many books?
15 copies of 3 books, 45 books altogether.
Why are these books not available?
They're all old books. One
Oh.
was written in 1981.
That's all.
Can I ask, in the past, were we able to get them through interlibrary?
Not that old, Kathy.
In the
No,
past,
in the past, they came through the Vermont
they
Humanities
paid
Council.
for it.
They paid.
They bought the books
And
and
then we
gave
pay
them.
for shipping.
So why does he have these books that are not?
Because it's the ones from the program that, like, we were trying just to do that program and do it without the Vermont Humanities Council help.
Are these things available on Hoopla?
I didn't look. That's a very
Mm.
good question.
Or Palace.
Yeah,
Yeah, any of the,
I can look, some of,
Blackstone.
Some people may not use ebooks, but.
I was gonna say, some of the people that are in
Yeah.
the demographic that attend this meeting might not be ebook.
Mm.
Some of them might
Oh,
really
yeah.
be ebook. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
It's a good option
yeah.
if it is an option.
Yeah,
I'm at the point now where, so Richard and I have also gone back, we've sent back and forth more emails last night, a whole bunch for some reason. But he,
And then, oh, sorry.
so I had offered him 500, because I thought that was probably what we could reasonably spend. He came back with 800 last night. He said he would do 4 programs for $800. I said or we could decrease it if we wanted to. So what I'm thinking now is that we might only do 2 programs, and then we would only have to buy 1 set of books and pay him less than $800.
So it's one book for 2 sessions?
No, it's a book each session.
Okay.
So the one book we can get from interlibrary loan, no problem at all. It's a
Okay.
newer book and it's very popular. But I mean, yeah, the one book, I didn't look at the dates for all of them, but one was 1981. I was like, that's the year I was born. That's a while ago. So you know, it's just a lot of these programs do that too. They're all older books. And I think the idea is that, you know, you get to see how that subject matter changes as time goes on. That's especially last year, that's what that focused on was, you know, went from like the Scopes trial to modern day. So,
Are you allowed to pick with him? Can you pick like,
oh yeah,
and then
yeah.
is there another one where we could get the books? Or is it just the one?
He's very
Set.
set. So I'm hoping that, you know, we could work together on certain things. But I'm not willing to spend $1,700 on a program that 10 people come to. They might come 10 people might come 4 times, but you know, we're spending almost $200 a piece on that. And
I agree. And then what do you do with the books afterwards?
Yeah,
The ones
then we
that you
have the
buy?
book.
What do you do with those?
they say,
15 books.
yeah, we're never going to be able to get rid of them in any sort of,
So,
Yeah.
so you're looking at
2 sessions.
$400 for his payment and how much for the books?
I think we could probably do like $250.
For the,
One book was $30 a piece on our
Holy
wholesaler. I'm not even sure the 2 other ones I can get. So, because they're all like,
they're old, like, have you looked at Amazon? Like, can
I
you get
did,
your used?
I did. The used ones on Amazon are not that cheap
Yeah,
because you have to pay the shipping. for
Uh-huh.
most of those.
Right.
So even if they're $7, you still have to pay like $4 in shipping, and then that makes them 11, and you have to buy 15 of them. So because they're literally no.
Are there other programs besides this one?
You can't see them anymore. They took down the page.
Oh.
and got rid of these things.
Mm.
So, and he's done this here for like 30 years.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think he's done a lot of the programs already.
and it is a good turnout.
It's
for
a
that.
good, you know,
Yeah.
and the people who come really get into it.
Mhm.
And they come pretty much every time unless they have something crazy going on. So, I don't want to cancel it outright, but I also cannot see, you know, we have a $6,000 programming budget for the year. I can't spend $2,000.
And is this limited to a certain number of people who can come to it?
It's limited by the number of books we have.
So there could be
So if I
more
had,
people.
you know, oh yeah,
Yeah.
we gave out more books last year than people attended,
Oh,
which happens for just about any program. It's
Any possibility that Richard might be a little bit more flexible and it's not necessarily just those 4 books that you have to choose from?
yeah,
Have you asked that of him?
I did set, that was the last email I sent him yesterday was, I'm having trouble getting these books.
Mhm.
And
let's see what he has to
How
say.
many copies of each book can you approximately?
like 15.
Okay.
So you can get 15 copies of a book through interlibrary loans? I mean, assuming a book is available?
Yes,
Oh,
the
I
book
know.
is available. If 15 libraries have it, I can request 15 copies of it. It's book clubs, you
Gotcha.
know, we do it all the
Gotcha.
time.
What about community? Just asking a broader community. Just, I mean, I'm sure there's people, if they're older books, who have second houses here who probably have some, if they're fairly popular.
They're
books.
not popular.
Oh, okay, then never mind. Listen, I was trying to think of the size of box here.
Nice try, though.
You're relatively obscure.
Okay, so John Berger's A Fortunate Man. There were 3 copies of that available in the state, and they were all at university libraries. Paget's A Complex Sorrow, which there were 0 copies in state, and Edson's Wit, a Play. 2 copies of that one, I think. One was lost.
Oh.
And then the last one is Atul Gawande's Being Mortal, which is very easy to get.
So what
And these
is
are
the
ones that
fee?
he's come up with or the ones that he chose from
These
the
are
state?
these are the ones that were listed in the Vermont Humanities Council.
Where would they, if they had still existed, where would they get the books?
They own them. They just have
Okay,
the sets.
So what is the theme for this year?
Healthcare and humanity.
Wait, they own these books already?
Yes.
Why
They
can't
asked
they
if we
give
could borrow them.
Yeah,
I offered to drive up there and get them when I'm in Stowe, and they said they literally don't have any staff members who can
Open the
Can't
door.
go in the
Yeah.
building.
help us out with it.
Wow,
that's insane.
that's bad. That's
So,
bad.
I mean, I can try, Richard was just talking to them about this part. I could try calling them
Yeah.
too. And see, like, cause I'm gonna be up north.
Right.
Burlington's not that far from Stowe. Relatively.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right, well, we'll see how it progresses and I like your idea of at least.
Like a couple of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or his flexibility in choosing a different, more current
Yeah.
books.
And is he
Yeah.
willing to do less of them?
yes, he
Okay.
is. He is, yeah. I told him the price of you would, pay the $800 for 4, but because that $200 a piece is pretty normal for us to pay for a program.
But the books,
But the
yeah.
books.
Yeah.
We also,
Yeah, so if we could break into if we could somehow, through your fancy dancing, get access to those books,
yeah,
then the whole thing becomes feasible again.
yeah. Like sneaky. We're at the same time, I'm also negotiating, trying to figure out a band for the Missouri Social. And the band that we wanted to do was a little more expensive than we wanted to do. And I was like, oh, maybe if we cut something else cheaper to make it cheaper, we could do that. And then this got thrown up. So
How much is the band?
um, sorry, I have it in my,
band?
Erica Reynolds band,
Okay.
Well,
$600 for 3 people. So, and that was a little outside of, I was like thinking 500 maybe, for that. So, because I think we spent like 350 for the Beaver Lady.
Talk to Matt. He has a list for when he does like the golf course and stuff like that of local bands in the area and how much I think them come. I'm just throwing that out there, not to throw my husband under the bus or anything. I've seen that list. There's a lot cheaper people out there.
Yeah, she suggested somebody else. I'm like, I've seen that guy 3,000 times and he's old as dirt.
and it's not that's not that terrible. It's just.
I don't think it's
just,
terrible.
no,
It's just
just
expensive.
do
for
we
us.
have the
Yeah.
budget
Yeah.
for it? So.
You don't
And
want
we
to be
probably have
holding
to
your
get
breath the
something
rest of the
out
year,
there.
right?
pretty soon.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Mm,
Yeah, and
Fiscal year.
Janet wants it for the pamphlet
Yeah,
too. We've already talked to her.
and what's the deadline for that?
Pretty soon. She pushes it back as we go, like she knows I'm good for something. She just wants to make sure she has the block for
Yeah.
me. So, she also, like, when I talked to her last, she really expressed her gratitude that the Dover Library was willing to host stuff during Blueberry Fest because previously it was not like that. So she's like, she did go out of her way to say like, thank you for being a part of the community and hosting these events, because we did like 4 last year during that week.
Yeah, great. Why not, right?
It's why not? Why wouldn't you take advantage? And you get free publicity being in that pamphlet. And so, last but not least on my report, the library's hosting a craft swap next door at the town hall on May 17th. Ellis is fully in charge of this. He spearheaded this event. He's doing a great job with everything. There was a press release in the newspaper last week about it. So, we're very excited. I'm going to throw up some ads on Facebook too and see. I think we have the money in our PR budget to do that. So that will be fun. We have a little pile of stuff already. for there, but we need a lot more. So if you know people who have craft stuff that they're not using,
Sarah should be. She keeps posting
that's
things.
Sarah's stuff.
Keep seeing it on Facebook. I'm like, okay.
I
It's really
was
clearing out.
invited into her craft room
Okay.
and she literally just gave me boxes of stuff. Kendra went through everything already and took what she wants for the children's room. I went through everything and took what I wanted for programming,
Mhm.
and that's the
Sarah,
last.
Sarah's wonderful.
She
It
is.
really is.
Have you reached out to like Toys R Us? Because I can guarantee they probably get donations of craft supplies
Yeah.
of like marker boxes that are
Oh,
missing like a
Marie.
marker or
At
two.
the,
Or paint.
no buy nothing group. on
Yeah.
Facebook.
Oh, that's
But then you might be left with a whole bunch of stuff. Are you okay with that?
that's going to Toys Plus.
They might not want it.
Kendra will do something with it.
Yeah, Kendra will figure it out.
Yeah.
She, Sarah also gave us a whole bunch of canning jars for our canning program.
Ooh.
So,
Excited.
You ready for those already? 'Cause I can give you some too.
they're in the shed. I have like 4 cases of canning jars in the shed. So there's room in the shed for stuff now. There's room.
You do pressure canning or boil canning?
Boil canning. Never done pressure canning.
That's good.
Um,
Much lasts a lot longer.
I didn't put this in my report, but since Kendra showed hers, I'm gonna show you mine. This, I'll turn that off. This is, the adult summer reading program.
Okay.
So I don't know if you guys had these when you were kids. This is not a very good,
Yeah.
like this was me just trying, but they're watercolor paints and you just take a paintbrush and wet it and then you
Yeah.
can,
Color.
color it in. So
That's cute.
it says, read a book with a cover of every color of the rainbow, then paint in the colored pencil to get a summer reading prize. So, it's super easy, low maintenance, and it's cute. My only problem is that this printed fine on our old printer and it will not print on our new printer. So-
Heavy sock.
It's, I don't know what it is, it just, the toner will not adhere to the paper.
Oh, interesting.
Our old one, it was fine. The laser, it won't work on the laser jet in the office either. So if anybody has a desk jet printer that I could come in and print like 30 of these, feel free.
Shoot me a copy of them. Give me just a sample. I'll test it on ours at home.
Oh, cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I have,
If not, I guess we could bring it down to Brattleboro to like, is it Browns
Staples.
or?
yeah, I was
Staples.
thinking like go down to Petty and see if their
Oh.
printer will work. Like.
You shared a lot of things with them.
Right, yeah.
Absolutely.
I offered to do free tech help for them the other day and they
Oh.
turned me down.
Wow.
So, yeah. Thank you.
I have a hypothetical question.
Mhm.
Hypothetically, if someone from the trustees or near the trustees were to plant a seed with Deerfield Valley News about what really would be cool if they had a monthly article from the Dover Free Library director, just stuff going on. Would anybody be available to?
Yeah, sure.
But
Yeah, I did talk to, Laura Harkowitz called me and interviewed me, about the, IMLS defunding.
okay,
So I think maybe next week there'll be an article in the paper about
Okay.
how, like, she says she wants to do a whole series on like things that are defunded and how they really affect our community. So.
that could be an important,
Yeah,
important.
it was really nice having the
Yeah.
conversation
Yeah.
with her too.
And then also, I mean, I know it seems like I remember from the past and watching like Wardsboro Library, sometimes you need someone for the library to write an article and submit it to them.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then they have
Yeah.
to proofread it and
Yeah.
decide what they
Oh,
like
sure.
or whatever.
Yeah,
And
I mean,
that's
I-
the best way
I
to,
wrote another article. I did write another article and did submit it, but because it dealt with the Girl Scouts last year and like what they gifted, they were like, well, that's a little bit of old news. So I was like, okay, cool.
Mhm.
Fun. I spent time doing that. That's
Yeah.
cool. Thank you.
One thing we are working on is trying to get a tool library. Yeah, we picked out some tools that we want. I have a whole spreadsheet, a little spreadsheet. And, I just need to have the spreadsheet in my hand when I go to WW to talk to somebody. I go to WW frequently, but never have.
But you have some of those tools donated as well?
Yeah,
For
I mean,
people?
we have this, we have like a specific what, like, items that we would like that aren't just like your average garden tool. Like, everybody has a hoe, right? Like, and a shovel. So nobody really needs that, but like, what if it's something special that you'd use once or you want to try before you buy it? Like that new stand-up weeder thing, it's like grandpa's
Yeah.
weeder, whatever.
I think it was cool.
Yeah. Like I kind of want one of those, but I don't want to buy it before I know if it works or not.
Would Home
So
Depot do a donation of something like that? I
I've
know.
already talked to Richard.
I was about to say.
It's a lengthy process.
Yeah.
It's not like a
They
time.
have a committee that reviews it once a year, so.
Yeah.
Oh,
You gotta do it at the
Yeah.
right time.
Have you
Yeah.
do anything
Yeah.
like that? Is that what you're
That's
saying?
what I'm gonna look into.
Yes.
I don't know who to talk to. Oh, would
Um,
Owen know who to talk to about that?
oh,
there?
John would.
John would?
John
Okay.
would know, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
That would be great if he could fill
Yeah.
me in.
Just ask him now.
Because the old lady at the desk scares me.
You might want a hurry knife.
What is that?
Sounds scary.
Oh, yeah.
I know it does
Oh,
sound
yeah.
scary, but
I
it's
feel
great
like I've
because I
heard
just
that
got one. It's like a trowel. Only
Yeah.
thing it has a cutting edge and it's serrated and it's blunt on the end. I got it at
Yeah.
Home Depot.
Yeah.
It's not exactly like the one that I've seen in a different place. However, it is great. You just
Yeah.
stick that in the ground and out comes the weeds.
Oh, yeah, that's your basic
You know.
weeding tool now.
Yeah.
You get them at Dub, Home
I have
Depot.
like a hand.
No,
Well,
no, get it.
Yeah.
It
Oh,
it saves. It really saves. Your
It's not a super sharp knife. It's just got
It's-
one edge of the knife edge. The other
And
edge is
it's a
serrated.
blunt. It's
Either
serrated
either
on the other
blunt
side.
or almost a little almost a weed puller V
does
and
have a-
at the
yeah.
end of it. Yeah.
That's exactly what it
Are
has.
they calling this a tool loan, the
Tool
tool?
library.
Have you, I mean, I know that Brattleboro Library has that.
Mhm.
Have you reached out to them to see where they got theirs from and just kind of connect with them and?
They probably paid out of pocket.
But I mean,
Not anymore.
I'm just saying it might be a resource too, and they might
Yeah.
have some that like they don't lend out that might be bigger up here, because
If you send me that list, I can check the clearance section and maybe convince management to just donate it.
Oh, like it
Mm.
fall off the truck.
Promo things out.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
especially if it's
Yeah,
in the
that's what
clearance
you meant,
section,
promo.
they try to get rid of those things. They don't want those things
Yep.
sitting in the store.
Yep.
So I might be able to convince them like, oh, hey, can we promo this out to the library?
And I'm asking John, I just sent him a
Thank
text on
you.
who.
Yeah.
I have an idea who it would be, but he probably.
And then in addition to the container gardening thing that's happening in May, we're doing it looks like we're gonna have a second one on invasive plants.
Mm.
So that's exciting. We're gonna
Oh.
try to make it a series, a gardening series this summer.
That would be an interesting one.
Yeah.
The plants, the ones you don't, the ones you don't realize are
You don't
invasive.
realize,
Oh,
right?
mhm.
Burning
Yeah.
brush.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about the obedient plants stuff in my garden? Terrible.
The obedient plant is not obedient.
It is not.
You need that hurry knife.
That's right. Or torch. One of the two.
Yeah, right?
Okay.
Now we gotta get out in that garden, right? And
Yeah.
we still have the typewriter that I bought to plant.
Yes,
or-
it's in the shed. I haven't pulled it out yet because it's
See if I
not
can get some
annual.
sedums for it, I think.
Oh, cool.
The
Yeah.
typewriter as a planter.
Mhm.
Yes.
That's cool.
Yeah, I found it at the flea market last year.
Wow.
that's really neat.
Yeah, filled it with dirt and.
That's awesome.
But I
So-
kept coming over and watering it like in the evening myself.
We got so many like.
Oh, yeah, oh, cool. It was fun.
All right. Are we at the?
Children have been on leave
Yep.
from school.
All right. Well then, are
Is
we
that
all
the end of your
good?
report?
That's the end of my report. That's it. That's all.
All
she wrote.
right.
All right.
Yeah, I had exceptions. Okay. He's got a name and I think he's sending me the contact, so I'll give it to you. Look. Question. Oh, the art wall. I'm like, I just put it on my list.
We talked about this before you got here.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you come up with a solution or find something to buy to use for it?
No, we have to buy the stuff. No, we talked about some different solutions.
Okay,
Um,
so I can talk to you after the meeting.
yeah,
I don't have too much time, but I'd like to find out about it. I'm like, gotta do it.
yeah.
You know.
All right. Anybody want to make a motion?
I would like to make a motion to end the meeting at 2:47 PM.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, opposed? All right, meeting adjourned.